I used to think that investing was hard, boring, or complicated, but I found the perfect stock investing course that showed me how to invest as a complete newbie. Now I can build wealth in the stock market and do all the things that I enjoy at the same time. Check out the Lazy Investor Stock course and get started on your wealth building journey today.
How's everybody doing this evening? Appreciate y'all for coming through. And so we're going to go ahead and get straight to it. So what I'm going to talk about today is foolishness and folly is like poison. The gift of focus can be yours if that's truly what you desire deep down inside your heart. And the goal of this particular video is to get you to understand and really to try to warn you about foolishness and folly, and you believing that that's going to lead you to what you think you want in life, because sometimes what you think you want in life is often sometimes not the best thing for you. And then to get you to understand that if you can focus in on what your assignment is, that's really how you're going to get what you want to get out in life. The world is lying to you by getting you to believe that you have to do what the world says you need to do to really feel good about yourself. That's really a lie. And it's really a lie from the pit, but it's such a strong lie and it's so pervasive because here's the thing. The moment you're born, the world starts working on your brain to get you to believe what it wants you to believe so you can do what it wants you to do. So it can be very challenging to sometimes try to come against that mentally, also psychologically, because the world is constantly working on your brain. And then the world also says that we'll give you the rewards of the world if you just do what we tell you to do. So you'll start to believe I need to engage in certain stuff to get what I think I want. But you'll often find out once you get it that you really don't want it. Right? Let me give an example real quick before we get into it. I make more money than the average person in the United States. Right? That's not where my happiness comes from. My happiness comes from the fact that somebody took my course in 2022 and they're telling me they're getting success. That's really where my real happiness comes from. Because for me personally, let me tell you something. It'd have been easy for me to move to Puerto Rico. It'd have been easy for me to move to Colombia, right? It'd have been easy for me to move to Asia and really live it up on the money that I make in the United States. I could have really did it like real big because of the exchange rate, because of Forex. But the way I am and the way I was raised, what I have don't mean nothing if I can't get us to get it. It don't mean nothing that I got it by myself. That don't mean nothing to me, right? Because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the people around me so we can move as a clique, as a group, not just me by myself. Because it'd be easy for me to move to Colombia. I'll still be on Eastern Standard and I could benefit from the exchange rate. I was never on that. That was never what I was on. So the money is a number, but really what makes me feel good is the ability I can go help somebody else. And they're appreciative of the help that I gave them because they applied the game that I gave them. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So what I'm doing is trying to help you understand that this world is lying to you. It is. It's been lying to you your whole life. And the goal is to get you to repeat the mistakes of the people that came before you. Erica did a really, really good video on Charlie Kirk. Right. Unfortunately, he passed this week. OK, she did a really, really good video on him. She did a much better job than I could have done. OK, and I'm going to kind of get into this. I really observe what I say on the internet because I don't want to turn people off to my perspective around things because I'm not trying to build something out a certain way. I'm trying to create an education platform. Right. So she did a way better job of explaining certain things than I could have ever done because she's gifted in that particular area. So I would encourage you to go watch her video on the Charlie Kirk situation because I could have made like 10 videos on that whole situation, but a lot of them would have came across as negative because the man is passed. So I didn't want to do that. Right. So we're talking about foolishness and folly is like poison. The gift of focus can be yours. Right. Really quickly, this show is being sponsored by highest paid online option trading academy. Want to still encourage you to get into it. Yes, the prices have gone up. The value of the course is way, way greater than the price, if I said that properly. And I want you to understand that. The work we've put in to try to help people become successful, we're not going to always be able to do that. This is going to be like a legacy course. You can still get on some of the things. Come late this year, early next year, we're going to switch some things around. And it may not even be available to new buyers. That's the direction that we're going in because I'm trying to free my time up to do some other things. Right. So just give you a heads up on that. Don't be scared off by the price. The value of the course is greater than the price for the people that want to apply themselves and they're not looking for a 90-day turnaround. So let's keep going. Right. here's what I want you to understand. And I'm going to keep coming with this. So a lot of y'all going to drop off over the course of the video. This video is not going to be for you. I was going to call this video something else, but I switched it up. But I'm going to say this to certain people. If you want to play a certain game in this world, you need to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. It's not the internet. This is real life. And I tried to explain that to certain people on this channel. Like, if you really want to get yourself involved in certain stuff, you need to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Like, exactly. You shouldn't be under any kind of false pretense. Okay? There's sections of this economy that are vicious. And I think they're vicious past your understanding. Because you're used to internet and, you know, I can watch something. There's sections of this economy. When I say this economy, I mean this world. For a lot of you people, they're vicious past your understanding. That's why I was never an advocate of a lot of this liberal stuff and telling people, you know, sex work. And these people have no idea how the streets really work. They don't know. Go watch Meghan Markle's old interviews, and she explained really how vicious it was living with the royal family. She had no idea because she was under a false pretense that living with a bunch of Anglos is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Because she doesn't have the ability to comprehend that they didn't get all that being nice people. That's not how they got it. She married into a family where they killed each other, members of that family, to keep power. That's what she married into. Then when she realized that's what it was, all of a sudden now she want to give the sob story. I don't want to hear it. Right? Because you thought being light-skinned and pretty was going to open up all the doors. Okay, keep going with it then. So what I want you to understand is that I'm trying to really appeal to you, and warning going to always come before destruction. There's a segment of this economy. There's a level of viciousness in that segment that many of you cannot comprehend. The best thing for you to do is to find you a partner, go get you a 9-to-5, right? Go get you a regular job and get you a house in the suburbs and just kick back. And you're being lied to, right? Thinking that there's something more to it. There's not anything more to it. What is more to it is what you don't want. They're going to spend a lot of conspiracies around why Kirk passed. They're not going to see what's right in front of them because they don't have the ability to see it. They never did, which is why they was a fan of him in the first place. Right? They will not be able to see what's right in front of them. But I'm going to give you a warning, and I'm going to go ahead and move past it. But if you want to move a certain type of way in this world, and you want to play certain type of games, right? Here's what you need to understand.
You are not safe. No matter how many people are around, or how clear the area looks, no matter what anyone says, no matter what you think, you are not safe. It only takes 1 second. 1 second, and it's over. Never let your guard down, ever.
Okay, so we done got that. Let's keep moving, right? So you can't say nobody didn't tell you. Here's what I want you to understand. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Right? Understand that. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instructions. Proverbs 1:7. Want to leave that with you. Okay. In this space, moderates do not get attention in the online political entertainment. The attention only comes from presenting bold viewpoints that are fringe. Moderates do not get attention. They don't. I'm a moderate in a lot of my political views, right? I am. I don't really care what a lot of y'all do. I don't think about y'all like that. I really don't. I don't think about you at all. I think about what I got going on, right? So I won't get attention in this online political entertainment space. The attention gets for presenting bold viewpoints that are very, very fringe. They're not how most people think. They're really not. Most of these people that are really big on the internet, the average person doesn't even know who these people are, right? My whole family's number of black folks, right? None of them knew who Kevin Samuels was. He had 1 million subs. They don't know. They don't care either. They live in their life. They doing their thing. They got kids they got to raise. They got retirement to worry about. They got property they're looking at. They don't care. That's not their world, right? And we're not trying to use them as an example. What I'm trying to get you to understand is that in a lot of these online political entertainment spaces, the attention only comes from presenting a very bold viewpoint, but it's also a very fringe viewpoint, because that's how you get the attention. Because having a moderate point of view doesn't get anybody's attention. Being center of anything doesn't get anybody's attention. They want, because they're only coming to get their ears tickled. They're not coming to get a political education. They're just coming to get their ears tickled. So you have to understand that's the marketing angle, because marketing is about discrimination. So from a marketing standpoint, what you want to do is discriminate against everybody that don't want to be there. The reason why I don't get on here and I don't come with a lot of provocative statements is because I'm running an educational platform, and I don't want you to be so mad at me you don't get the education, because that's what I fell victim to when I was in high school. I had teachers that I didn't like, so I wouldn't learn from them. Right? Because a lot of people, that's how they are. Like, if they don't like you, they're not going to listen to nothing you got to say. So I really monitor what comes out my mouth. I monitor what posts, because the goal is to get you the education so you can move on with your life, not to just try to figure out how I can be the most provocative person, because I can just say all kind of crazy stuff. Right? And I would have a bigger audience, but most of them wouldn't be here for the education. They'd be here for the next crazy thing I'm going to say. That's how this game really works from a marketing standpoint. Next thing, because people are talking about this, I don't like the debate, because to me, there's nothing to debate. I like to have a discussion. I don't like to yell, right? Even though I may sound a little animated on the internet, I don't like to yell. I did not come up in a yelling household, okay? I don't like to talk snarky to people. That's not my thing, right? I don't like to be disrespectful. To me, that's all a performance. But that's the world we live in. It's very much this online world where I need to get the last word. I want to yell at people. I want to be super smarky. I want to be very dismissive. And then it moves to the offline world. Anybody that's dealt with me in real life will tell you, the louder you get, the quieter I get. Because I can't feed into that, because I know what I'm going to do. You playing games. So I'm not even going to engage with you, because I know what I'm going to do. And you playing games, and we just seen from the dudes out here in Atlanta, most of y'all going to tell. So it's a losing battle for me any way it go. Right? So I'm going to lose whichever way it goes. So I'm not even going to feed into it. So you can do whatever you want to do. You can be loud. You can be disrespectful. That's your business. God bless you. I don't feed into it. I wouldn't raise that way. That's something I feed into, because I know what I'm going to do. But that's the world. It's a performance, because we have so many people where this is their release. It's debating people, right? Yelling, talking snarky to people, being disrespectful. This is their release. There's a lot of other things going on, but this is where they think they're going to get their release from. So if you can organize that, you can benefit from it. It can be profitable to you. But I don't like to debate. I like to have a discussion. Here's something we got to understand. Is difference between debate and consensus. We're going to get into that. But we've gotten this idea on the internet that debate is like this high level thing. We don't understand the difference between debate and consensus, right? Debate is one thing, consensus is something else. So because we don't understand that, we think we're doing this high level thing to where I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna argue with you back and forth. What are we doing it for? Are we trying to get to consensus? Or are we just trying to just debate and talk loud of each other? What are we trying to do? But for so many people, this is their thing. When I first really started getting on this internet, it amazed me how many people had channels and they would do a live stream and it'd be 5 people live just yelling and screaming at each other. I'm not finna do none of that with y'all, because I'm not a yeller or a screamer. I didn't make a name yelling and screaming at people. I didn't. I have a name in the real world. It did not come from yelling and screaming at folks. It just didn't. Because the louder you get, the quieter I'm gonna get. I'm not doing that with you. I wasn't raised that way. I was not raised in a yelling, screaming household. My parents didn't yell and scream at me. That wasn't how I was raised. So I don't have a point of reference for talking to people like that. I really do not like to raise my voice. I don't like to get mad at people. So it's just not something I ever bought into. How do we get the consensus? But here's the thing. Consensus is a higher level skill, because most people are not in a position in life where they're told to get the consensus. They're just told what to do. So they think debate is this big thing. I'm trying to get the consensus so we can move the ball down the field. And so it's really been a form of marketing to make people think that this whole system that we have in America is about debate. No, it's really about consensus. It's just the average American is not in a position where they're asked to get the consensus to get something done. They just told what to do. So they think my feedback or my debate or my point of view is this high level thing. No, it's really not. The goal is to get the consensus. And then when you put people in a room and say, let's get the consensus, they can't do it. They think it's just about debating. So this is how Mr. Kirk really made his money. He made his money on this particular format. Fringe ideas that are very inflammatory, provocative, and then this idea that debate is this higher level function. And it's really not. Right? It's just something that people do. If you look at your politicians, they debate to get to consensus. They don't debate for the sake of debating. Right? Here's the Turning Point USA debate strategy. Create a logical fallacy. That's step one. Create another logical fallacy. Step two. Create another logical fallacy. That's step three. Then go back to one and start again. That's their strategy. Average person doesn't know what a logical fallacy is, so they don't even know what's going on. But that is their strategy. Average person does not know the difference between commentary and facts. They don't know. I can get up here and say 5 times 5 is 25, and somebody say that's good commentary. They don't know the difference. They cannot discern the difference. So this strategy has worked very well for them in this modern era for a lot of different reasons, right? But this is their strategy. This is their debate strategy. Logical fallacy, create another one, then go back to another one, start again. Why does that work so well? The opponent will spend all your time trying to deconstruct the logical fallacies. People say stuff to me all the time, don't make any sense. I just keep pushing because I don't have time. I'm too busy. I got too much work to do. I don't have time to try to totally build you up education-wise unless it benefits what I'm trying to do as far as my assignment. But people say all kind of stuff to me, don't even know halfway what they're talking about. So you'll spend all your time trying to deconstruct the logical fallacies. So if I wanted to come against what Charlie Kirk has said, I now have to take somebody and literally foundationally build them up to the point where they can understand what I just said. That's going to take a very long time. So he understands that. Turning Point USA understands that, so they're able to leverage that. Right? And there's reasons why we're going to go into that. But this is their strategy. It's worked very, very well for them. Because the average person does not know what a logical fallacy is. Okay, let's go to another Bible verse. Folly brings joy to the one who has no sense, but whoever has understanding keeps a straight course. That's Proverbs 15:21. Right? You want to understand that because we're talking about foolishness and folly. Right? Logical fallacy is a flaw in the argument's reasoning or structure that makes the argument invalid, even if the conclusion happens to be true. Here's an example. Basketball is played by so many black people because they're good at dribbling tomatoes. How do you debate this? I'm asking the audience. How do I debate this statement that basketball is played by so many black people because they're good at dribbling tomatoes? How do I debate that? How do you debate it? Right? So you have to understand what a logical fallacy is. It can't be debated. So somebody says, well, you know what? You can't prove a person is wrong. I can't disprove a negative. Like you have to understand some of this stuff can never be disproven because the premise of it is false. Here's the next one. 5 times 5 is 157. And if I disagree with it, it's because I don't like their opinion. How do I debate this? How do I debate that 5 times 5 is 157? So when somebody comes with statistics that they don't even understand what they're saying, the actual inference of the statistics is wrong, I have to now start with really maybe algebra if I'm lucky, but I may have to start with basic arithmetic to get them to understand where they went wrong with their data. Well, who has the time to do all of that? So they'll just come with a whole bunch of statistics which they don't understand what they're doing. And then now you're trying to argue something that is wrong at the premise or the foundation of it is incorrect to try to get people to understand why this is. So this essentially takes up all your time. Because I can't argue or debate with you that 5 times 5 equals 157. I can't. It's not possible. So if somebody just keeps spinning this type of stuff out, it's not that, well, we just need to have a debate. I can't debate this. It can't be debated. But there's so much of the population that engages in this type of stuff. So they're essentially caught up in it. This is foolishness. This is folly. And there's a spirit across the land where so many of our population are caught in this, right? And they really think that they're doing something, and they're caught in these kind of environments where they're just talking about stuff and it doesn't even make any sense. Like, we really live in a world right now in America where people will argue you down that the world is flat. Like, this is 2025. This is not like 1530. This is 2025, and we have people that will argue you down that the world is flat, and there's a grand conspiracy to hide the fact that the world is really flat. And then I'm supposed to spend the time to try to educate you, get you to understand mathematically the way people navigate the seas, the way people navigate with planes. The world can't be flat. And they think I'm trying to hide something from them, because you can't argue with these people. This is foolishness. Because now we got to go back to basic, geography. We got to go back to basic mathematics to try to get you to understand why the world cannot be flat. It's not flat like a piece of paper. That's not possible. So this is what I want you to understand. This is what's going on in the world today. Next Bible verse. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only expressing his own opinion. This opinion culture that we built is faulty. It's faulty. And it's a byproduct of social media. And a lot of younger people are used to it, because when I was coming up, then nobody cared about your opinion because you didn't have anywhere to broadcast it. Now everybody got their opinion, right? This opinion culture was faulty. It is very much faulty, right? The idea that your opinion is always important is false. That is a falsehood. Your opinion is not always important, right? Why do you think your opinion is always important? It's not. In some scenarios, you know what you need to do? Shut your mouth and do your job. That's what you need to do. We don't need feedback from you. You need to shut your mouth and do your job. That's what you need to do. Right? The idea that your opinion is always important is a falsehood. That is a falsehood. But this is the world we currently. So everybody now thinks I need to go somewhere and express my opinion. Who told you that? Then when somebody really asks you for your opinion, you don't know what to say, because you just engage in foolishness all day. So when somebody really sit down and say, well, what you think about this? Now you ain't got nothing to say. But when it's some gossip or some foolishness or something that ain't going to add up to $3, you'll talk for 5 hours about that. See? So I don't understand what will motivate anybody. When I was in college, I'm going to go deal with somebody who I don't agree with from the gate, and I'm going to try to give him my opinion. My time is too valuable. Because to me, no disrespect to this man because he passed, but to me, the whole situation was very silly. So there's no way in the world I would even engage in that. Like, I got too much I got to go do, right? To me, it's like a very kooky situation to me, right? But this idea that your opinion is important all the time is a falsehood. It is. Sometimes what you need to do is shut your mouth and go do your job. That's really what you need to go do. Focus on what you need to do. Right? And put yourself in a position of where your opinion, your perspective has merit because of what you've done, not just because you got one. But see, you can't monetize that. I can't build a million-person audience if everybody don't have a right to say what they want. Let me say something that you cannot do on none of my social medias. You cannot say whatever you want to say. Why? That's a lack of order. We're going to say this, and no disrespect to this young man. He passed away very young. I didn't even know he was this young. I thought he was at least in his mid-30s, but Anglo's age different. The idea that you create an environment where everybody just gets to come in and say what they want to say is disorder. That's disorder. Right? That is disorder. Even we got quote unquote First Amendment, we still got obscenity laws. Right? There's still certain things. You can't yell fire inside a movie theater. This idea that, well, I'm going to create this free-for-all environment, and, people just come in and do whatever they want to do, that's disorder. And somebody that claims that they have a faith foundation, they should know better than that. As a man, you should know better than that. Okay? So you can't come on my socials and just say whatever you want to say. Because why? That's disorder. And I'm not going to lie that. It's going to be rules and regulations. It's going to be structured. You can't do whatever you want to do because I can't do whatever I want to do. So what makes you think you can? Right? But how you build a real big audience is you create a social media situation and people get to come in and do whatever they get to say, whatever they want to say. They get to post whatever they want to post on your page. No, you don't. You don't get to do that because you don't get to do whatever you want to do around me in the real world. You can't do that. It's some things you cannot do around me. We're going to get straight to the bottom of that. So that's the thing. So again, you're a man and you create an environment that's literally no rules, no regulations, which is part of your downfall. And we're going to tell the truth. That was part of your downfall. But it allowed you to get real big, though. Allowed you to get a lot of attention, get a lot of fame, but no structure around what you was doing. Easy access. People come in and out how they want to. That was part of your downfall. Because as a man, you're supposed to be creating order. And if somebody don't like it, they can blow up and go do something else. And a lot of people will blow up, so you won't have no big audience. Right? But he's supposed to be a Christ follower. You couldn't do whatever you want to do around Christ. He wouldn't allow it. So Christ had order. You supposed to be a Christ follower, but ain't no order around you because that's how you build a big audience. Then that led to your downfall. Like I said, I can make 10, 15 videos about the situation, but I don't want people to think I'm trying to kick the dude while he down. Let's keep going. Every prudent man acts with knowledge, but a fool flaunts his folly. Okay? So again, we gonna create a free-for-all around my opinion and debate, and people just do what they want to do, yada, 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 and it work till it don't work. Right? Because it's a free-for-all. Moderates don't get attention. We talked about that. That attention comes from presenting bold viewpoints at the fringe. So we're going to talk about why it works. Works because we got a population that falls into one of these buckets. One bucket. They can't read over the 5th grade. So they either fall into one of these buckets, an overlap, or all of these buckets all together. So it's like a Venn diagram if you know what that is. Depends on social for information. We got a large amount of our population. If it don't come on social media, they don't even know it even exists. Right? They don't know how to pull source documents. They have no idea. They are 100% dependent on social media for all their information. Okay? Next go. Depend on social for social interaction. So a large part of their social interaction comes off social media. Lack of social networks in the real world. They don't have people they talk to in the real world that can check their behavior and say, yo, you tripping. Some people do have people in the real world and their behavior is still not being checked. Right? Because they're being enabled. Lack of partnership in the real world, right? Lack of partnership in this country is going to be one of the things going to lead to downfall of this country. These people going to get right what they're asking for, right? Because everybody got to be so perfect these days. So they're going to get right what they're asking for. This thing is going down a cliff. So this is why this stuff works, because of either one of these things individually impacting somebody, or all of these things impacting somebody at the same time, or a combination of any one of these particular 5. So it makes these people good candidates for this type of foolishness, right? Hit you with another Bible verse. The wise fear the Lord and shun evil, but a fool is hot-headed and yet feels secure. See, so I want you to understand this. All of this stuff was expressed to us thousands of years ago. People still fall into the trap because why? This world ain't got nothing but a trap for you. The bigger this world make you think you is, the more deeper a trap that you in. It'll make you arrogant. It'll give you a lot of blind spots. You won't have no idea what's going on. And next thing you know, that's it. That's it. It's over with. The bigger this world make you think you are, the bigger trap is set for you. Right? Because a fool is hot-headed, but yet feels secure. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's a lot of lessons in this. But again, we ain't trying to kick nobody while they down. But it's a lot of lessons. Okay? Because you build a whole career off certain stuff. And you don't even see it coming. Because you think it can't happen. This population we talked about is easy to isolate because they want to answer to why they don't like their life. Right? This is what's going on these days. We have a lot of people that are isolated. We have a lot of people that are not connected to no real community, and community starts with family. Community is not a bunch of random people that you know. I do not believe in that. That's a controversial statement now, but I don't believe in that. Can you have that? Yes, but I do not believe that community is just a bunch of random people living together. Community, the foundation of the community is going to be family. We got a lot of people that don't have no connection to no kind of community. So they're easy to isolate because they don't like their life. Now they're looking for a reason. So they go on the internet and people tell them, this is why you don't like your life. This is why you don't like your life. This is why you don't like your life. And that's how they get these folks. And everything these people talking about is secular, right? Let's keep going. Let a man meet a she-bear robbed of her cub rather than a fool in his folly. See why I don't get involved in a bunch of stuff? Because again, I know what I'm going to do. And I know what y'all going to do. Y'all going to go tell. We just seen that with these dudes out here in Atlanta. See? So I don't even deal with it. Y'all can have it. You can get the last word is whatever. You could be the top dog. You can have it all, bro. Right? Because I know how this thing is. I know where this type of stuff ends up. So what happened to Kirk didn't surprise me. Surprise a lot of y'all. It didn't surprise me. Because I know when you play certain type, when you run in a certain type of way, man, this game is vicious, bro. It's a vicious game out here. Right? So that little ecosystem he from, that's the first person that they know that we won't from, we call it you got smoked. That's the first person that they know intimately that got smoked. That ain't the first person I would know that got smoked. I know a gang of people. I get on here and run a list of people down I came up with that got smoked. That's the game. So I avoid a lot of stuff because I know what come with it. Y'all can have it. I'm not gonna get involved in it. People can look at me like I'm crazy. I know what come with that. I've been there, done that. Right? Been there, done that. Y'all playing internet games. What happened to Kirk is not on the internet. It's on the internet, but it's also not on the internet. It's real life. He not popping up. He's not gonna pop up next week. It's not gonna happen. And we're in a country where about 130 people die every day because of violence. He's not the only one. He's just the one that's the highest profile. So he's part of now that 130 that die every day inside the United States because of gun violence. He's part of that 130. This is real life out here. It's not a game. Okay? So engage population in foolish and folly. This keeps them available to you. Why? Because they got nothing else going on. So what you do is you create more foolishness, you create more folly. This keeps these people available to you. I've talked about this from the gate. These people don't ever want you to improve your situation because why? You won't be available to them anymore. They need to keep you isolated, keep you by yourself. This is part of the principles of conning people. It's a level of game a lot of y'all ain't ready for. A lot of y'all ain't ready for. Right? I saw them maybe the homie Roz up out of Cleveland who know how to apply game. A lot of y'all ain't ready for it. Part of the principles of the con is to keep you isolated. So why? You don't have nobody else to depend on except the person that's conning you. Relationship space has mastered this concept. It's God dealing with me to why I don't go in on these people because I know exactly what they're doing. And in the black relationship space, primarily, it takes advantage of poor black women. It feeds them a bunch of nonsense about how the world really works. And as long as they stay single, they can keep making money off them women. And it primarily impacts poor black women because black women from a higher income level that have more family support, they don't have a lot of issues because why? It's been built into their family. Relationship space has mastered this concept, but these people do it in political entertainment. And everything is the fault of somebody else and they never your fault. And you come back the next day and they got another reason why you should be mad at your life and who else's fault it is. And then they got come back the next and they just keep doing this over and over and over and over again. Because if you ever get with somebody and never start solving your problem, you ain't going to deal with them no more. Because ain't no in the world you're going to be married to me. You're going to be listening to these folks. We're going to have a problem. Because I don't know what the appeal of these people is once you got somebody. Right? So don't even bring that. I don't want to hear it. So the goal of them is to make sure that you never, ever figure out what your real problem is. Right? What makes me different is people have come through my program and they went and did their own thing. The goal is to keep you around me the rest of your life. That's not the goal because I'm moving. But the only way a lot of these people can eat is to keep that audience of people dependent upon them. It's not an empowerment situation. And they're looking for people who don't want to be empowered. They just want to get somebody to blame. So if you look at these spaces, whether it's the left or the right, it's just a blame space. It's not, you need to do this to actually, it's just a blame space. It's just purely entertainment. Let me find somebody to blame. Let me find somebody to pick on. It's going to be pecking order. Everybody mad all the time. And then when something happens, everybody's shocked. I thought this is what y'all was into. So I know if I court a certain situation and something happens as a result, I courted that. So my mind is not blown that something happened. Now, if I'm not doing nothing, that's different. But if I'm courting something, and something happens, there's nothing to be surprised about. Why? Because I quoted it. That's different than somebody that's sitting in their house, serving in their church, serving in their community, going back and forth, working their job. That's a different situation like this young girl on the right. She didn't court it. So that's why I say I don't even get involved in none of this stuff, because I know what's going to happen when this stuff goes sideways. People going to want to find something else to do. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Because, well, again, you chasing this attention from the world, and that's a big trap. It's been a trap from day one. And I've been telling people that from the gate. Go live a square lifestyle. Don't be looking for trouble. Don't ever leave your house looking for trouble. You will find it. And it may not happen when you think it's going to happen. Because here's the thing. This is something I'm going to tell you that I know for a fact. You can get away with something for so long, you think nothing going to happen to you. The moment you think nothing ain't going to happen to you, that's when something going to happen to you. That's how this stuff works. It never happened when you think it's going to happen. It always happens when you don't think it's going to happen. That's how this stuff always works. Right? So you got to know that when you're dealing with this stuff. Again, the clip, you can never relax. Ever. You're never safe. Ever. You always got to be on point all the time, to the point to where you get paranoid. We used to have this saying when I was coming up, paranoid like a drug dealer. We got that from Tupac. That's how you got to move. You got to be paranoid like a drug dealer all the time. There's no reason for you to live like that. Just go live a square life and get out of the way. Let's keep going. Now we're going to talk about focus. 3 months to the end of the year. What goals are you currently working on? What goals? 3 months to the end of the year. What you currently working on right now? Political media. We talk about the young lady on the right. They needed a story because a large part of their audience was watching football. It's football season right now, especially in the Southeast. And in the Southeast, nothing's bigger than football. Nothing. So they needed a story because they was going to get washed out by football. So what they did was they rehashed an old story to try to get some attention. Right? And that's what they was running with, including Mr. Kirk. Right? So this stabbing in Charlotte, which is very, very unfortunate. That woman did not deserve that. She did not. She just over here working. Right? Very, very unfortunate. I've always told my people, be careful when you're on these metros, because they don't tell who on them. Right? Very unfortunate what happened to this young lady. The stabbing in Charlotte was going to be their story. That was going to be their story that's going to run with to try to figure out how they can get some traction during football season, because their audience is watching football. There's people watching the game right now. Green Bay playing, I think, the Skins. I still call them the Skins. You know, I'm old school. Right? Green Bay balling against the Skins right now. So their audience is watching football. So they was going to try to use this again to inflame everybody, make everybody pick sides, get everybody riled up. Everybody got their little opinion based on little or no facts. And that was going to be their story. Kirk getting killed, that now becomes a story. But he was also running with the same story. He was running with that story because that's what he does. Right? What does it show you? It shows you they never cared about the woman who got killed. She became old news in less than 24 hours. Right? Kirk passed away yesterday. The same people that he ran with, they not doing content about him. They done left this girl alone. They don't care about this girl no more because they never cared about her. She just was a vehicle for them to drive views and to raise their profile and to raise their status in this world. They don't care about that girl. They don't care about this girl. She's just something they can use to try to continue to raise their status in this world. They don't care about that girl. Right? This is their game. This is the game they play. So for you to get caught up in it and to go back and forth with debate people, it's a waste of your time. The question is, what goals are you currently working on? Where is your focus at? What are you working on to advance yourself in your assignment? See, one of the reasons why you just can't bring anything to me, because I'm focused on what I need to be doing. So I don't entertain a lot of stuff because it ain't got nothing to do with what I got going on. Because I don't believe in outrage media. I'm not a fan of that. 2, I like to read. So most stuff that people do, it's just all video based. I like to actually read stuff. I don't like just outrage video content. I don't care. So one of the blessings that I have because I'm on the market side of Twitter is most of the content that come through my feed is all market based. So I don't even get caught up in a lot of this stuff. But I feel bad for this young woman because she got killed in cold blood. She didn't do nothing. And they tried to run with this narrative that was really an older story that was a month old to try to generate some traction during football season. And then the moment Kirk got killed, they threw her to the wayside. Now everybody doing Kirk content. Everybody doing Charlie Kirk content because that's how they're going to draw their views. That's how they're going to drive attention. Some of these going to have the biggest videos on their channel all year going to be a Charlie Kirk video. See? So the same machine he built, he going to fall victim to the same machine. I told you this game is vicious. This is a vicious game these people are playing. You don't want no part of it. You do not want any part of it. Leave it alone. Right? Because if I go into why I really believe he got killed, it'll blow your mind. It ain't no during Israel stuff. It's not about no Israel. But this is a vicious game. So nothing that happened to Kirk blew my mind because why? I knew what he was courting. You courting it, bro. You're not saying you asking for it, but you're courting it. And what's so vicious about it is the same people that's acting like they're your friend when something happened to you, they're going to use what happened to you to try to make money off of it. I would never do that. If something happened to Miss Williams, I would talk about it and I leave it alone because why? It ain't for me to try to make money off of it. It's a tragedy, right? If both Miss Williams, Miss Brandy, and Miss Erica, something I would never try to make money off that. If something happened to Cedric, I'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll leave it alone. I wouldn't try to make money off that situation. These people going to make money off what happened to Charlie Kirk, but they claiming that's their homeboy. This stuff is messed up, bro. Like, these people are messed up people. It reminds me of when Biggie got shot and then Puff ran out there and tried to make money off Biggie being shot. I was like, that's messed up, bro. But that was his lane to get some money off the fact that Biggie got killed. This is messed up, but this is the machine these people have to feed to show to the machine that they have some relevance and they're valuable to create a new opportunity for themselves. Because they are disciples of that machine. So they can talk God or they want to. Right? That's marketing. They're disciples of this world, of this man-made machine that they're a part of. Because I would never do nothing like that if that really was my homeboy. And we really was cool like that. I would make a statement and leave it alone and keep going. I wouldn't try to figure out how I'm going to come up off the fact this man passed away because that's what's going to drive views. That's crazy. So I want you to understand something. Foolishness and folly is like poison, and it's especially like poison to the uninitiated. The gift of focus can be yours, but you got to lock in and focus. You got about 3 more months to the end of the year. What you trying to do before the year's out? I told my agent, reached out to him, told him, hey, I want to still work with you on looking for a house, but it don't mean I'm going to be able to look at a lot of houses before the end of the year because I got trips I got to take. I got other stuff I got going on. I'm probably really not going to really start looking at houses like that to the top of the year because there's so much more stuff I got to do before the year. I got business-wise, and I just told him straight up, that's really what's going on, but I still want to work with you because I got a whole slate of stuff I got to do before the year's out to set me up for 2026 because this year flew by. So that's what I want to really continue to encourage you. But take it from me, I don't want you to find out because you're in a bad situation that the stuff I told you about certain stuff is true. I don't want you to find out that way. Right? Because even though I didn't like this dude, I didn't like how he moved, I really didn't agree with it. I thought he was money hungry, thought he was attention hungry. I think it's very unfortunate that he found out the way he found out that he was in error. I think that's unfortunate because God gave me grace to where I could mature and learn from my mistakes and keep my life. Right? And I changed my life really around the same age that he passed away. That's around by the same age. That's how I was going to change my life. He didn't make it. So I just think it's very unfortunate. And I'm giving him more grace than he's given a lot of other people that got caught up. Because at the end of the day, that's still a person. He still got a wife and kids. So I think it's unfortunate. But I'm grateful that God gave me the grace. He gave me the lifeline to change my life. Right? But he didn't give it to him. And for you to realize at that moment, man, I'm out here. I messed up. It's too late, bro. You can't pull it back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you. You can't. So I want to really encourage you. You can go out there and try to do this. I'm telling you, this game is vicious, and it's vicious past your understanding. And you don't need to understand it to find it out. Just take my word for it, man, and just live a square life. Right? Less stress, less controversy. You can enjoy life more, and you ain't got to worry about certain things. So one thing I love about the markets, I can make this money. I got to look over my back to make it. I ain't got to worry about it because I can make this money in secret and don't need to tell nobody. Hope y'all got some value from it. We're going to read these super chats. Maybe we're going to get up on out of here because I don't want to be up too late. Amika Khan, man, appreciate it. $7. Jamal Maynard, thanks for deep dive. You got to study macroeconomics. Have to watch a lot of your videos. Appreciate it, man. Want to encourage you to keep studying. Appreciate it, $20. AKW Beast, man. Appreciate the $1.99 super sticker. Big up to South Florida. Pascal, man. Appreciate you being a member. Appreciate the $9.99. Big up to Pascal. Manny, man. Appreciate the $20. Being the grifter political space, big business. Thanks for your perspective and videos. Yeah, that whole political online space to me is just terrible. You know, it is. It's a big snake pit to me, bro. But it is what it is. That's what they want to do with their life, man. Hope it work out for them. Cedric Webb, appreciate it, $20. Charlie Kirk made a career spreading disinformation and fallacies mass on the white nationalism and Christianity. He didn't fully understand the position he was getting himself into over the long term. Definitely, Cedric Webb. And I would want to build on that more, but I don't want to go negative with it because the man passed away. But I think he was in over his head, and he's a young kid, didn't realize it because he started off very young. And I don't think, like a lot of people in this country, don't realize the two political parties in this country are the two most powerful political parties, not only in the world, but in the history of the world. And I don't think people really get that. And there's families in that party, some of the richest people in the whole world. And I don't think people really get that either. Right? There's some vicious stuff going on behind closed doors in these spaces. And it is what it is. Right? You got to know what you get into. You running in the mob, you got to know you in the mob, homie. And we're going to leave it at that. So big up for everybody for coming through. Want y'all to stay encouraged, man. And I want y'all to really focus in on locking what y'all got to do and leave this stuff alone. Right? Always remember, God got a plan for you. The devil got a plan for you. It's up to you which plan you follow. But they both got a plan for you. Don't never forget that. Stay blessed, man. Talk to yourself.